give it a little bit buffer time. Okay, life. 大家好，我是 Jeffrey。我跟大家解释一下，因为我之前呢跟Zakir，is that right? My pronunciation? Zakir, OK。在沟通的时候呢，可能他以为我只是 radio， 而不是 TV。所以呢，他们的安排可能会不一样。那现在我因为要做 radio 采访呢，所以他们认为比较不妥当，所以呢，我不可以拍，他们可以听得到他们的声音。因为说如果我之前跟他有这个 TV 或 video 的话呢，它会经过他们的这个board 来批准，那可能就不是这么快了啊。所以呢，我们今天的访问，抱歉，你看到的呢只是这个静态的一个画面，只能听到我们的声音。OK， 好，我马上就要开始。And this is where's the other?
Is that one right?
Oh, it's here. It's here. So people won't see you. Yeah. People might see me. Okay. So we can start now, right? Okay, so sir, thank you for being here. So first of all, could you please introduce yourself briefly?
My name is Zeeshan Basimuddin.
Okay.
I am one of the imams.
Yeah.
Of the Islamic Society of Markham.
Okay.
Imam meaning the leader of the Muslim community here. Similar to the title of a priest in the Christian faith, rabbi in the Jewish faith. One of the terms that we use in the Islamic faith for a leader of their community is imam.
Okay.
To impart religious guidance.
Okay.
And tackle some of the issues that we're facing here in the West in respect to religion and
yeah. Okay, thank you very much, sir. And sir, you?
My name is Zakir Sheikh, and I'm a volunteer with the Islamic Society of Markham, and I'm part of the public relations committee.
Okay, and thank you so much. I know you just got your third. Very happy, very happy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you, sir?
Yeah, my name is Ziauddin Mohammed. I'm also one of the volunteer Islamic Society of Markham, overlooking public relations and some other faculties.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. So, I think you know the story of the hijab incident. So before talking about that, I would like to know, hijab must be very important to Islamic faith. Yeah. So how important is it? What's this religious significance?
The hijab is a means or an obligation upon men and women.
Yep.
It's linguistically means to cover oneself. Right? Hajaba in the Arabic language means to cover. Basically, our beliefs within Islam is that believing men and believing women are obligated to cover certain parts of their body,
right,
from exposing to the outside world, the public. That being said, there's a misunderstanding in the term hijab. Many people assume that women have to wear this all the time. Right? There are different levels of hijab in the Islamic faith. Of course, when we're out in public, women cover themselves. Everything is covered except the face and the hands.
Okay.
But in the comfort of their own home, right? Are women still obligated and meant to cover themselves the way that they do out publicly? No. They can be more relaxed in their home atmosphere around their family.
Okay.
The obligation of being covered is more a public thing. When you come out of your home and you're in the public view, there is a certain image that needs to be taken and
right.
As a believer, as a Muslim.
Okay.
With that being said, as well, we should also add this point that the hijab, it's more what it represents. What it represents for a Muslim woman, is a belief that society does not dictate to me how my appearance.
Okay.
Rather, it is God who dictates to me how I should appear to the public.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it's empowering them in a sense that I will not be dictated by fashion. I will not be dictated by the society that I live in, how I should dress.
Yeah.
but that is something that God Himself has ordained. This is the image that a person should keep themselves with.
Okay, when you say obligation, because some people outside this religion, they thought women are forced to do this. They use the word forced. Yeah, just how do you think about that?
That is a misunderstanding, a misconception, definitely.
Okay.
If you were to ask any Muslim woman what her view is about the hijab, majority of them will state that this is something that I've done my own liking. It's no one has forced me to do this.
Okay.
They do it because it is something that God wants us to do. So when we talk about Islam, one of the terms that they define Islam with is submission. Islam it's submitting your will and your thoughts, what you believe in, to the will of God. Okay. Everything we do is based on submission to God. And if God has ordained a certain way of portraying yourself to the public, then that is something that every Muslim will say that, you know what, that's important. It's not because a man or Muhammad has told us to do this. It's because God Himself has told us that this is how a Muslim should dress.
So is it a great insult for someone if this person tried to touch, remove, not at all, cut the hijab of a lady?
It's an insult, of course. I also believe that it's a violation of anyone's personal space, whether that was a Muslim person on the other receiving end or a Jewish person at the other end or a Christian person at the other end. I think people's space being violated is definitely something that is an issue and should be addressed. And it is, anyone would be insulted if a person's private space was violated.
Absolutely.
So it's, yes, of course, in this woman, Muslim girl who's allegedly her hijab was being cut. Obviously, we know the true facts that came out and that are addressing that as well. So.
Yes. Before the next question, I need to explain some viewers because maybe now they join us, right? So I explain why you can see me, but not Iman, not the teacher, right? Yeah, because I didn't stay clearly saying that this interview is not only for audio but also visual. But I didn't say that, so they thought today only for radio. However, brothers are very kind to allow us to do this interview, but we don't include them in the visual. So I hope you can understand that. That's why you see me, didn't see the interviewee, Imam. Okay. So next question, you just mentioned the little girl's incident. So I just want to know, what's your first thought? Because this happened on the 12th, less than 12 days ago. What's your first thought? Or other, Sakit or you? Okay.
First thoughts were, of course, someone's privacy or someone is being violated, right? And it is alarming. It is something that is deep-rooted, that it made us all, cautious of what's going on out in the world. So yes, it was alarming when we heard that something like this is happening within the Muslim community, especially with Islamophobia going on nowadays and xenophobia and Muslims being a target in so many parts of the world. We thought that that's coming to our home now too in Toronto, where up till now we've experienced comfort, we've experienced a lot of peace, but now we're seeing a different side and people being violated. So it was cautioning, especially for those of us who have sisters and mothers and daughters who wear the hijab. I think they felt insecure. They felt that they may be violated as well.
Okay.
So there was this cautioning within the Muslim community that we have to be careful out there.
Okay. But you don't have any second thought to think that it might not be true, or put a question mark on this girl's statement?
It wasn't the first thing that crossed my mind, to be very honest. Only because of the atmosphere that we're seeing in the world today. where there is a lot of hate crimes being committed towards Muslims and other people of faith. And it was more something that you're constantly seeing and viewing in the media, in news, that Muslims are being attacked, there's attacks. So we assumed that it was something that probably had taken place. Right?
Okay.
We didn't assume that a young child would be creating a lie like this. But it was shocking. It was shocking in that sense.
Okay. Yeah, I still remember when I heard this news. I was driving, and the news said that the girl said that she was attacked by an Asian man. I'm an Asian man
Right.
with mustache.
Oh no.
Not many
Oh, no.
Asian men with mustache, right? So if that day some policemen, if they see me, then maybe I could be very likely a suspect, right? However, 3 days later, I think that things happened on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 3 days later, and Toronto police say that, okay, after the investigation, they confirm nothing like this happened. And then, what's your thought about this then and now?
My first reaction was, and to be completely honest, was similar to my sister's when she sent me an article which actually spoke about how everything that happened was misinterpretations, and there was a misunderstanding, and it was a lie. And my first reaction was, this is not going to be good for our community, and it's not going to be good for any victims in the world who may go through this type of incidents in their lives, where one person has falsely accused another community. Now it affects all the victims that may be afflicted by this in the future, that when they speak up, will people believe them, right? Will people second judge them? And so these are things that hurt our community, of course. It hurts the Muslim community, it hurts all communities for that matter when things like this happen. But we should also remember, and I think this is a belief of everyone, that the actions of a few should not define any religious organization or any ethnicity or any group of people. It's an individual act, and it should be judged in that manner. I don't believe that she represents Islam, right? Or anyone who does this type of act, anyone who lies, is not a representation of their faith. Right? It's a representation of themselves, but it's not a representation of their faith and their community. And I think that's something that's important, that needs to be addressed, that yes, this young girl committed an error and she lied, and that lie affected the lives of many people. Right? And we have to understand that's why the Prophet, one of his teachings was كَانَ الْكِذَبْ أَسَاسُ الْفُجُورِ. And this is an Arabic statement of the Prophet, that the pillar of all evil is lie. Right? And you can see the effects of lies and how it can be a domino effect, and it can affect the lives of many people. A small little white lie, or a small little lie, not white, but a small little lie that someone perpetrated, how many lives are going to be affected by that? Right? So, I don't think she understood the magnitude of what she was doing, or what the reaction, what would happen. But that was unfortunate. But we also need to come to grips and understand that she does not represent Islam, and so keeping those two identities separate, right? The act of this individual is her own individual act, and it's not a representation of the faith or the community of Muslims in large.
Okay, what's Quran's teaching about lie?
Quran is very, very explicit and very clear in respect to lying. The Prophet has mentioned in many sound narrations where he depicts different actions that, wrong acts that a believer could do. But when asked, can a believer be a liar? The Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, no, a believer cannot be a liar. Right? And the understanding from this narration is that when people commit other errors and other sins, they are violating the truth. But when you speak a lie, you are contradicting the truth, which is very important for us to understand. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ gave so much, guidance and cautioning when it came to people misusing the tongue, right? And speaking in a manner which contradicts what reality is and what the truth is. And we can see that, and many scholars have written the effects of lying and how it can destroy a community. And we're seeing, I think, glimpses of that around the world where, we have leaders who unfortunately are lying to their communities. And the effect that that's having on the larger masses of people, you can see the effects of people who are not true to their tongue, true to their word.
And our brothers and sisters at this mosque, are they aware of this event? Is it an incident?
Yes, it's something that has been.
And do they talk about this?
Yes, it's been discussed on our platforms, and it's very unfortunate, but it's a matter that is being discussed on platforms within the Muslim communities. We are apologetical, and we are upset that there is a misrepresentation of our faith taking place. So that affects our community as well. The way that people see and view the Muslims now. Right. So yes, it is a topic of conversation within our communities where our leaders are discussing this, how to go about it. Definitely one of the points that you had mentioned is, should she publicly come out and apologize? And of course, if you have publicly come out to make such comments and allegations towards someone, then you should publicly come out and apologize for the act that you did as well. And I believe there was a statement that was made to the Toronto Star and to the public where the family has come forward and apologized for their actions. And definitely apologizing to the Chinese community, the Asian community, because remember, if we were in your position, it would be the exact same. This response from us for any ethnicity for that matter. If it was the African community or the Chinese community, any community on the receiving end that you guys were at, you deserve an apology. And definitely that family should come forward, we believe, and apologize to the community for that act and the uneasiness that is created within our community.
Because we know that last weekend there are protests from coast to coast, from Chinese community, and this Sunday or Saturday, this weekend, are going to do it again. And last night I just read their conversation through WeChat, because the WeChat is the social media mainly used by Chinese people. And clearly they say we are not, the protest is not to send a message to Islamic Society. No, they think this girl just a girl, she tells a lie. That's it, okay? But they are not happy at the politicians, especially Prime Minister, the Premier of Ontario, the Mayor of Toronto, and TDSB. I think so, because TDSB is supposed to protect this girl, but instead of doing that, the girl was in front of camera, right? And another thing I think Chinese community, they are not happy with is CBC. And some people even, they have this type of thought. They say it's a conspiracy between media and Muslim communities. So that's why it's so quickly, just 45 minutes after this girl's press conference, and CBC had a story. And afterwards, it's become an international story. BBC, Al Jazeera, Malaysia Digest, CNN, everything. So how would you say to people think this is there's some form of conspiracy here?
First and foremost, I would be the first to give comfort to those who are watching and listening that there is absolutely no conspiracy with the government and the Muslim community in this act. I think it was more an act that was that happened very fast. People didn't get a time to digest what the facts were. I believe maybe the media came out too quickly, and because of that, there is this uneasiness within us. But the Muslim community has not taken part in any conspiracy against the Asian community. So that I want hopefully to be settled, hopefully amongst the Chinese community and the Asian community who are listening and watching, that there is no conspiracy that has been tied and linked from the Muslim community to the government. I think this is an incident that's isolated, and people maybe were quick to judge, and we learn a very important lesson that before we go publicly, get all the facts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's a primary teaching of the Quran as well. That when إذا جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة. When anyone comes to you with any news, make sure that you do tabayyan. Tabayyan, actually find out the facts. Because by not finding out the facts and going public with it, it can hurt the community, right?
That's true.
The ignorance of any statements that are mentioned can really hurt the communities that you live in. So one of the guidance from God is that whenever anyone brings to you points, make sure you do the word that we use in Arabic is tahqiq. You actually find out the facts about that.
Okay. And
then come out and disclose whatever it is. I think before the facts were even found out, everyone was, social media is such today, and the media is that before facts can even come out, the whole world knows what's happening, which is unfortunate. Where I believe that now we have to have more cautioning and more precautions being taken before you go public with anything. Make sure all the facts are completely, clear, and then present that to the community, so that there's no room for people to, come up with, is it a conspiracy theory? Is it this or that?
Yeah.
So I think that's very important.
Right. We know telling a lie is not the right thing to do, right? Let alone this girl comes from a Muslim family, and I think everybody agrees that she did wrong thing, right? He made a wrong choice. As you said, I think this family, this girl, she in some way owes other community, she mentioned or accused apology. So because you are the leader, you are the leaders of this community, I just wondered, is any channel or anything you can do pass this message to this girl, to this family? Have you tried to do that?
Personally, I haven't to reach out to the family, but I know within our communities, on our members to our congregations, there are a lot of imams who are speaking in respect to this and how our actions can affect how we are viewed in our community as well. And we have to be very, very particular on how we carry ourselves in the community and outside, because our actions, people are looking at us, we're being observed from all angles. It is how people translate how Islam is. So we have to be very careful in respect to apologizing. As a religious leader, I would definitely be willing to apologize on her behalf, on behalf of her family. Do I need to apologize on behalf of Muslims? Again, I go back to my statement that I made, that person makes, we look at them as an individual. We should not allow that person to be a representation of our faith. But in order to create, I would even be willing to even apologize on behalf of the Muslim community if that has, community in any way. The Muslims, no reason to be stubborn, not apologize. Of course, do we believe that Islam, or the one who, that I disagree with. Right? I don't believe that Islam, any religion for that matter, promotes or encourages its followers to lie. I don't believe any religion encourages its followers to deceit and break up communities. So this is an act of an individual. It is not a representation of our faith. But that being said, as a religious leader for our community, I would be willing to, approach the Asian community and speak up on behalf of the Muslim community and apologize for the actions of a few within our community.
I think the next question, only this girl and her brother or family can answer. Why did she, pick Asian, as a suspect? We don't know why. We don't know why. My concern is that that could be another source of hate crime, right? For example, if I tell a lie, why I choose this group of people, not that group of people, right? Maybe I have some personal issues with that group of people. But if I don't explain, or I keep that in my mind, over years, I could pass that bad feeling or negative feeling to my friends, families, loved ones, and that kind of it can grow. It can become another form, as I said, hatred. So if from this angle, and do you think everybody of us need to spend our time and efforts to know why this girl? Yeah, it could be a very simple reason, right? Maybe this girl, has some has a personal fight or verbal dispute with another Asian boy or girl, right?
Of course.
But it could be another thing, another story. But it's important to know why. Do you agree?
I agree. The point I want to make is that if this is maybe the notion that anyone may be getting, that why she chose to name the Asian community, I don't know. But one thing's clear for sure within the Islamic faith. If there's anyone who's concerned, is there any does Islam have bigoted views towards the Asian community or any community for that matter? That rest assured that Islam is a religion that teaches unity, that promotes unity, promotes, one term that's used in the Quran a lot is to address humanity, is Ya Bani Adam, O children of Adam, O children of Adam. And God mentions that over and over again for us to understand that within Islam, ethnicities are not supposed to be barriers. The color of your skin is not supposed to be a barrier. When you talk about our religious congregations, if you ever get a chance to visit, on a Friday where we have most of our congregants, you will see a very diverse community. You'll be there are people from within the Chinese community who are Muslims. We have one of our directors here whose son-in-law is from amongst the Chinese community, the Chinese Muslim. So within our, there's no such thing as bigotry. We cannot have bigoted views towards any sort of ethnicity or any group of individuals. Why? Because Islam itself is a very diverse religion. There's people from every walk of life, every ethnicity who are Muslims.
Yep.
But it's not fitting the believer to have some sort of bigoted views towards an Asian community. If that was the case with her, God knows, and I can't speak on behalf of her family. I don't know what her motives were and why she chose the Chinese community, but rest assured, Islam does not have any bigoted views towards any community for that matter. I know we've heard of a great civil rights mover of our time, Malcolm X, someone who accepted Islam. You read his biography, and one of the points that he made when he actually went for the pilgrimage to Mecca, one of the things that opened his heart and his mind was to see the diversity within Islam. Right? You had people from every walk of life, from every part of the world who was there doing the pilgrimage. That's where he understood that, Islam is an all-encompassing religion. And especially at a time when they were seeing racism in the heart of the United States of America, for him to be able to see that as well, right? It gave him hope that there is a world, there is people out there that don't judge you based on or where you come from, right? But it should be on moral etiquettes, right? That's what we are all based on.
Yeah, I think this time this incident, have so much attention. One of the reasons because the comments and reaction from Prime Minister Trudeau, because in the very first place, not only him, all the politicians from three level of governments, they made some comments, and afterwards, people only heard Trudeau say something about this after he learned that it's a hoax. But what he said is, "Oh, we feel thankful and relieved it didn't happen." And a lot of people, even including myself, we feel that reaction is too one-sided. Yeah. I think if I can give my suggestion, I will say, hey, Mr. Trudeau, maybe you should say this instance, if communities this girl mentioned, then we feel regret. And another thing is that cheating is not the right thing, and this young girl made a wrong decision, and we hope it won't happen again. I think that's a very fair, very fair. But she didn't say that. People from Chinese community, I didn't say everyone, quite a few of them, they're angry about Trudeau's reaction. What's your take of that?
Rightfully, I feel any community who is targeted in that manner or is feels as if they have been violated in that aspect, it's the job and the duty of the higher levels of government to speak up and at least not only of course the statement that he made that we're glad no one was hurt, but we have to understand how many people were hurt by her comment and how many lives were affected because of that. That also needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And if the Prime Minister and the people in higher levels of government have not addressed that, then it's something that they should think about and reaching out to those communities that have been affected by this and being apologetic for the fact that maybe they spoke too quickly and maybe even in that statement that the Prime Minister made and other individuals who need to step up did not mention the thing that they should have. So this is rightfully, you have the right to feel as if justice wasn't served completely, and it's our job to stand up for that justice, every single one of us. And that's why one of the teachings of Islam is what, and that's why I believe the young girl who made this comment, it was her religious obligation to come forth and hold herself accountable for her actions as well.
Yeah.
Right? One of the ayahs of the verses of the Quran is Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina bil qisti shuhada'a lillah walau ala anfusikum aw al walidaini wal aqrabin. O believers, always stand firm on justice, stand up for the rights of other human beings, even if that means being just over yourself, meaning even that if that means that you have to testify against yourself. Right? And this is the case of a young girl who made an error, but how do you stand for justice now? Right? How does a person, after this has been done, and you are the one who has violated other people's rights, how do you stand for justice and make something wrong right? Well, you come forward and you acknowledge the fact that I have done something unjust, I have done something wrong, and you apologize to those people who have been affected by this. Right? So this is very important that a religious teaching within us that we stand for justice alongside whoever is willing to stand for justice, whether that be against your own community as well. If there's someone within our Muslim community who is doing something wrong and it's being pointed out by someone from outside of our community, then of course we need to stand and correct that injustice that is taking place.
Yeah.
So
what's your message to those protesters this weekend?
Keep love in mind, keep peace in mind. I urge you to, number one, look at this as an error of an individual and not as a representation of a whole faith. Right? And that would be my main message.
Okay.
I know a lot of people may come out of this thinking, oh, look, now Muslims are liars, Muslims are this, Muslims are that. We want them to understand that no, Muslims don't lie, Muslims don't cheat. This was an individual who made an error and does not represent the Muslim community and does not represent the Muslim beliefs system. But it was an individual error and it should be looked upon like that. We should not be protesting against a certain faith or a group of individuals, but we should be protesting for justice. Right? We want peace, we want justice, and that is a right of every person on this earth. Right? Whether it's Canadian, American, wherever you live in this world, your right is to have a free and just environment that you live in.
Yeah. Last question. I don't know. 2 years ago, when we had a last federal election, were you here? So if you compare this government and previous government, I think there are difference. For the last member, the government said encourage women to report some family violence. Of course, use the word barbaric. And that time, I think of families from, if they feel they are targeted. Remember that? Yeah. And this government, Mr. Trudeau, people think that he is very lenient to society, which is Islamic society, and he has a very good relationship with Mr. Aga Khan, and I think you know that, and which brought him some troubles. Do you feel that way?
So that his, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Trudeau is pay more attention or efforts to
The Muslim
Muslim community. Yeah.
I don't believe so. In my personal opinion, I don't believe that he's giving any favoritism to the Muslim community.
Yeah.
I do feel that he sees and understands the environment around him, where he sees that Islam is a target. He does understand that Islamophobia is on a rise. So I think whatever he's done was more of from his own goodness and a political move that to create a comfortable and respectful and warm relationship with the Muslim community at a time where Muslims are really a target and the central focal point of all communities around the world. Right? So I think he stepped up in a sense to not to favor us in any way, but to at least give us the comfort that there is a voice for you, and you do have support within the Canadian government and the community, and especially from the previous government, the Harper government, and what they were trying to push, the agenda that they had. I think he wanted to create more of a calm and comforting environment for the Muslim people, because they make up a large portion of Canada. Give them, make them feel rest assured that we're not going to put you in the back burner. We're not going to continue to feed the fire of Islamophobia, but we will try to at least bring that down.
Okay.
Right? So I don't personally feel that he's favored us in any way. I think he's being a leader who, look, all leaders make mistakes. All leaders learn from their mistakes. All leaders grow in their positions. He's a young prime minister of our country, and have a lot of learning to do still in the future. But I think he is understanding that at a time where Islamophobia is on a rise, we need to give the Muslim community some support so that they don't feel as if they are being neglected in their society.
Okay, thank you very much, Iman. Zeeshan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so before I turn off this machines, I need to do some explanation again.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that, because the miscommunication. Today, the interviewers, Iman and the brothers, they thought it's a radio, it's a audio interview only, but they don't know I come with the cameras. So that's why you only saw me, didn't saw them. I am sorry about that. But tomorrow night, my radio show, 明天晚上我的 radio show 呢, I invite another Pakistani Muslim on my show, and he can speak perfect Mandarin. Yeah, he's going.
Shazad?
He's a lawyer.
Yeah, Shazad.
Shazad. Yeah.
He comes to our masjid.
Okay. Yeah, Shazad. Shazad.
He's a confident here.
Yeah, because the show, the name of the show is My Story. So it's not a political show. It's just a show want people to share their life, their experience. Because he went to China, Sichuan, and study Chinese.
Yes.
So he speaks perfect Mandarin. So tomorrow night he's going to be on my show and share his story. Of course, I always ask similar questions about the hijab incident. I think that's decent thing to do, the right thing to do. If we don't do anything, if we don't talk about this, if we just keep silent, I think that's wrong. There's something wrong.
I agree with
you. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. So see you until next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.